So, hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now, that's right, I'm continuing my series of reviews of the DCEU, trying to get the main ones done before we get to Wonder Woman 1984. So, we've done Man of Steel, we've done Suicide Squad, we've done Justice League, we're doing Batman v Superman. I want to get the first Wonder Woman film done. And I'm going to try my best to squeeze in Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, but if we don't get them done, I'll do them shortly after, as I said in my last video. So continuing on from Man of Steel, we have the follow-up Zack Snyder movie, Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. Now, I am talking about the cinema release here. This is not the extended edition, because I know some people prefer it. I don't know whether I prefer it. I still kind of have the same feelings towards this film, whatever. So I'm going to talk about the cinematic release of Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice here. And I can tell you this film, I wasn't, huge into superhero films when this came out, to be honest. I was into movies a lot when this movie came out, but I wasn't big on the superhero films yet. It took me a while to really invest in those movies. Like, that goes for Marvel as well. Even though I was watching Marvel and DC films at the time, I wasn't, pumped out of excitement to see them. And I didn't go to see this one in cinema when I saw the reviews. And now I'll go see anything. I'll go give it a try. But back then, I was a bit more stubborn. I saw the reviews come in and I was like, I won't bother then. So, this film carries on. It feels like a kind of Man of Steel sequel, I guess, because it is... The main focus of this movie is still Clark Kent. It is still Superman. And, it goes forward with his story. But, of course, you get involved with Bruce Wayne. You get Batman in it. Now, I will say this from the word go. I absolutely adore Henry Cavill as Superman. And I also think Ben Affleck is a really good Batman. I really do. I really think he just didn't get a great movie, unfortunately. I feel quite bad for Ben Affleck a lot of the time when I see people talk about him, to be honest. But hey-ho, it is what it is now, unfortunately. So, in terms of the two leads, I think in terms of all of the cast, I really don't have a huge problem with it other than one individual who we'll talk about in a sec. I think everyone else gives it their all. Amy Adams is fantastic in this movie. Lawrence Fishburne, everyone who is in this movie, other than a certain individual, is really trying. And actually, I'd say this individual is trying. Of course, I'm talking about Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I think he is trying. I think he's trying too hard. And his performance in this movie is embarrassing. It's awful. His Lex Luthor is terrible. Mind-bogglingly bad. He does not come across as any version of Lex Luthor from the comics. He does not come across as any previous version of Lex Luthor we've seen on TV or the big screen in previous movies. I don't understand what he was going for. I don't know if they were like, hey, be really jokery, because the Joker's really edgy and people like him because of what Heath Ledger done with him. So I don't get what they were going for. I don't. It's baffling. It's awful. It's a terrible casting choice. It's a terrible version of the character. I mean, some of the lines he has, the bit at the end where he's on the bars, he's going ding, 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 ding. It's like, what? So, some positives about the film. So, the actors do a good job. I like the fact that they were trying to make this film feel really realistic and dark, because that's what the DC comics are like now. Because people who moan like, oh, that's not Superman. Superman doesn't fly about. He's like, hey, I'm Mr. Good Guy. He's not that in the comics anymore. DC have a great with comics now because they're dark and gritty and they have a realistic point of view. And Superman is not the nicest guy ever. This guy has a dark side. And I like the fact they're pushing the boundaries to show that. The film looks great. The score, Hans Zimmer does a fantastic job with the music. So yeah, this film isn't all bad. I think there are some good elements to it. There really are. It's not Justice League or Suicide Squad level of bad, where I need to put it in my bad movie review series. It's not on that level of bad. But there are huge problems with this movie. Huge problems. And the biggest problem I have is the fact that they are trying to build up their Avengers movie on their second movie. I know Iron Man did this, but it just teased. And then we still got a Thor and Captain America film. We still got all this. With this movie, it's like, no, we're getting introduced to the Justice League through security cameras. There is no explanation to Wonder Woman. She just shows up. I don't know why she's here doing the things she's doing, why she's at these parties and stuff investigating. I know that she's a hero and she's looking into things. But how does she know about this? Why is she here? And she's getting on a plane and going somewhere at the end, and it's like... Why? I don't know. I don't know. They were just, you know, obviously Zack Snyder was like, no, we get Wonder Woman in there. Get her in. And she shows up at the end, and even, like, in the final fight is when she meets, you know, Batman and Superman, and they're like, she were you? It's like, they're as confused as the audience is. Some of the major plot points as well are hilarious. Yeah. I'm going to miss things out. I am. I know I am. Because I only watched this movie last week again, to be fair, in the build-up for Wonder Woman 84. You know, we all know the Martha scene. We've all laughed about it. It's embarrassing. You know, Batman's there ready to kill Superman. And, you know, he says Martha. It's like, oh, that's his mum's name. Oh, their mums both have the same name. It's like, oh, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to go save your mum. It's like, just because she has the same name, like, literally a minute ago, you were going to kill this guy. Doomsday comes out, of course. He looks very stupid at first, but then they kind of start getting the look a bit right. Yeah, that happens. What else happens? We get to see, I think it's Steppenwolf. I don't think it's Darkseid. I'm pretty sure it's Steppenwolf we see, isn't it? Because he's got the big... and he looks so much better in this than he did in Justice League. It's a joke. But yeah, that little tease was kind of funny. I was like, yeah, okay, there's the big villain, okay. Well, quote unquote, the big villain, until we get to Darkseid, which we'll probably never get to now. Yeah, people moaned about Batman killing people, and I was like, you know, Batman does always kill people. He always has. It's, you know, it's never been intentional. Like, he'll beat them to death. But there are some scenes in this one where I think Zack Snyder done the exact same thing he done in Man of Steel, where Superman throws Zod into a building and the building would blow up. It's like, that's too far. It's too far. Superman wouldn't have done, a hero, your hero wouldn't have done that, because in that building there were probably a lot of people. Batman's doing the same thing here, where he's driving into cars and the car just explodes. And it's like, Batman wouldn't have done that. He would have flipped the car or something, you know, broken a few bones. Maybe if one died, unfortunately, but they are bad guys. He wouldn't have just driven through it, exploded it, given them no chance. It's not something that these heroes would do, I don't think. So I think Zack Snyder, again, just going over the top. And the real issue with this movie, the real number one big issue, I suppose, alongside the Justice League, which is embarrassing, is the pacing. This film cannot control its pacing. The last half hour moves like a train. It is going through it like crazy. And don't get me wrong, it's actually not that bad. I have a good time watching the ending when Superman and Batman finally team up to fight Doomsday. It looks a bit funny at times. There's some over-the-top stuff, but it's entertaining. I'll give it that. But the first 2 hours or whatever, however long this bloody movie is, it is painful at times. There are some slow moments that just... It's just horrible to get through. There are pointless scenes, and it just moves like a snail. And it's not even interesting, half of it, because I don't mind slow-moving superhero films, because normally there's something cool happening. You'll have a hero doing something, or they'll be investigating. With this one, it's just side characters talking, because loads of scenes with Lois Lane just talking to, like, Lawrence Fishburne and stuff, and it's like, I don't care. She'll just be talking to Clark Kent. It's like, I don't care. I don't care. You know, and we don't see enough of Bruce Wayne, I don't think, even though this film is so long. I really wanted to get to know him more, spend more time with him. Of course, I'm pretty sure like 70% of this movie is Superman based, which is fair because it is a Man of Steel sequel. But I just wanted more Bruce Wayne, because I love Ben Affleck. It would have been great to see him do more. Jeremy Irons as Alfred, I want to say, that was a great casting decision. That was fantastic. He's one of the best Alfreds as well. Or I think he would have been if he just given more to work with. But anyway, this film is... I wouldn't say it's quite bad enough to go on my bad movie review series, hence why it's getting a normal review, but it's nearly there. This is not a great movie at all. It's not a very good movie. I think the studio got carried away. I think they were probably pushing a lot of this stuff on Zack Snyder, and Zack Snyder couldn't cope with all of it, hence why this film becomes very bogged down and messy. It's hard for a film to be messy and very slow-paced at the same time. Normally messy films, like The Rise of Skywalker, for example, are moving like a train. They're going really fast. They're really fast-paced movies because they're cramming so much in. This is messy but really slow. I'm not sure how they've managed it, but they have, and it just makes for a very boring, confusing movie, which is very convoluted at times, and some very funny plot points which don't make sense. And I think that's the best way to describe this film. I'm going to give this movie a 4.5 out of 10. I think it's a big step down from Man of Steel. I think there's no doubt about it. Man of Steel is the better of the two Zack Snyder films. Hopefully his version of Justice League will be good. I mean, I think it will be. It can't be worse than the Justice League we got from Joss Whedon. I know that. But how good it'll be, I don't know. I don't have the biggest amount of faith in Zack Snyder. I can't lie. But I'm sure it will be better than the one we got. But how good it will be, we'll see. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice is getting a 4.5 out of 10 for me. Guys, it's not a great movie. It's just not. It's a film which even DC are trying to forget. They are. But don't worry, because now we're going to skip. As I say, we're not going to do Suicide Squad or Justice League, so I've already reviewed them in my bad movie reviews. We're on to better stuff for DC now. Wonder Woman is a good time. Shazam's a good time. Birds of Prey's a good time. Aquaman is a bit wobbly for me, but I still don't mind it. So we're on to better ground now for DC. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you all next time for another video. Bye-bye. I think he has